Say that again.
Skinner and people talked about beyond good and evil. And then
beyond good and evil.
Yeah, so they can. Sure. So by any time we try to make a moral judgment, people say that's just religious, well, hold on. I mean, I know Brahma cattle. Brahma cattle are very aggressive genetically. They're some of the most dangerous type of cows to have, and that is genetic. That's not trained into the Brahma cows. And we know.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, they've done all sorts of genetic studies, and I mean, a lot of aggression is genetic, and then it can be taken down or it can be jacked up.
Sure, but I think you'll tend to find, though, there's a lot of discontinuous information, a lot of bad research that's gone into the geneticist ideologies. For example, the reason that these cattle might be violent has nothing to do with their genetics. It's the fact that they're born into this violent herd, and they condition those responses. This is the nature with all dogs. This is the nature, there's a cliche of Rottweilers being mean. This isn't true. It just happens to be that the people that get these Rottweilers do so with a specific intent, and the statistics support that they're conditioned aberrantly.
I think that's a big part of it, but a lot of people have nice, sweet pit bulls and Rottweilers, and one day it bites their child's face off, so I don't understand that. We're going to skip this break, too. Look, in the limited time we have here, I really don't want to make this a fight, and I don't want to
you're not acting like you, man. I'm really offended that you're yelling at me because I'm just presenting ideas.
I was yelling excitedly here on air, and I want to try to go through some other areas of the film. I want to try to go through some other facets, because I agree with you about how the monetary system's working, but are you saying that's basically any system that uses symbols to try to grease the skids of commerce?
No, what I'm saying is that you're using a system of exchange that's based on scarcity, and and based on differential advantage. Money is inherently a corrupt behavior-producing element. It can't be any other way because it's scarce, just like everything in nature. This is why the animals behave the way they do in nature for food and what have you. You can't have a system of inherent scarcity and ever expect people to behave in any so-called ethical.
So what do you propose to replace money? How is this metamorphosis?
Well, this is exactly what we were talking about with the resource-based economy. Money doesn't exist. Money is not real. It never has been. Labor, 90% of the jobs people have today, and I'm talking about employment labor. I'm not talking about human interest in working. There's a big distinction there. I think you got that wrong in your argument.
So how does this start? Where do we get the land? Who gives it? I mean, do you take somebody's land to give it to another group?
Not.
Okay.
Of course not. You're jumping way ahead. You have to get the ideology down first, and then the communication will begin on a vast
But don't I need to know that if an ideology is going to work good, if I'm going to sign on to it, I need to war game it out historically and try to look at it? Or I just accept the ideology first and then hope it works?
No, you don't accept the ideology first and hope it works. That's a faith-based ideology. What you have is intellectual analysis of the environmental conditions of the planet itself, and you begin to restructure society based on what we understand today. How
do we restructure society? That isn't going to have a central.
Well, first of all, the first thing that I think the natural progression would be to build the first city. As I said earlier, this is a technological development. We have to recognize that everything we have is owed to technology. It's owed to human creativity. So we can create things that relieve us of human labor. I point out this tendency, this clash we have with the labor system and human employment, labor system and automation, and this is extremely prevalent. We used to have all factory jobs. Now we have a service industry. And the service industry is slowly being phased out as well. This isn't some plot of the New World Order. This is a natural element of technology replacing human labor. So rather than be fearful of this, we have to harness it, and we have to utilize technology for what its real gift is, and that's extensions of us to relieve us of different things that we do not want to do or don't need to do or are dangerous to do. And that is a central philosophical point in this arrangement. To build the first city would rely entirely on pure renewable energies, transportation that's completely clean. It would cost more money.
Hold on, here we go back to the full audience. Explain it to people. Here we go.
Proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
We're talking with Peter Joseph, the creator of Zeitgeist, and then he's now made Addendum. I would hope that some of the Zeitgeist viewers would check out my documentary films, because I know the society is engineered. It's stated it is called The Scientific Dictatorship. My film, Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, details just a small part with specifics of what they're doing, how they understand human progression, how they want to phase humans out of involvement with the machines, with the systems, whereas this could be an empowering thing, as Zeitgeist is talking about, and I actually agree with that in a lot of the film. They are using it as a way to say they don't need humans and that we're overpopulated and we're a scourge and we've got to just be gotten rid of. And that's been widely discussed and is being pushed by the leading transhumanists, not the whole movement, and the eugenicists, the crypto-eugenicists, and others. And I was asking the fellow we're talking to with his ideas and the Venus Project ideas how we would start. And I actually agree. It would be a model system. A town, a city, an area to be a demonstration of the future and what we could move into. But then I would ask him the question: how do you stop the establishment from trying to move in and block its development, because they're trying to block anything that decentralizes power?
Yeah, it's a very good question. That is not a simple answer. Essentially, the establishment would do everything it could to stop any type of system that was self-preserving in its own way, self-sustaining, because you can't get profit off of efficiency, sustainability, or abundance. That's why our system right now, the free market as we call it, or monetary system, monetaryism as I coined, will never ever work, because you can never have a world without war or poverty on a system that's based on differential advantage and scarcity. The profit is made off of scarcity. The limited number of things available makes it more profitable. The oil companies have been raping people all past few years, or continuously since the 1970s, with this general tactic, and it's pervasive throughout the entire system. So, naturally, the establishment will reject this, and I'm very aware of that. That is why, at the end of Zeitgeist Addendum, I have a series of boycotts. When the public begins to wake up to the reality of what's possible as a human species, away from all these ridiculous institutions that have no relevance to anything, then that's when the true awakening will occur. People will try to distort the system. They will try to bomb it, do whatever. Anything could happen, but it doesn't matter, because the system will prevail, because it's based on something true. Not money, not competition, but resources and creativity.
But that's what the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution said they were going to do in China.
Well, obviously it didn't work, and there's probably many good reasons for that, because China is a monetary system too. Look, that's why the world system has to change. That's why the human value system has to begin to understand what's going on. I'm not saying this is an easy thing to do. What I'm saying is that this is the next step. You have to have world unification intellectually to understand the planetary resources and what's capable on it.
But see, then people won't unify, so what do you do about them? They're going to hold it back.
Well, then they make that decision, and they sit in their world. You can have sadly enough, there's no perfect scenario here.
Oh, there's no us against them?
No, there's no us against them. If someone wants to do something else, they do it. No one's eradicated, as you belligerently put in your October 8th. This is a silly, silly notion. There's nothing.
No, I was repeating. He was talking about classes. Everything would be eradicated.
About the human value system adjusting and growing and adapting. That's what he's talking about.
Well, hold on. Let's play that clip. That's let me play that clip. That's the clip we were playing last week, John. Which sounds very similar to the H.G. Wells stuff, but not the H.G. Wells clip. It was the clip number 10 is what it's called. Go ahead and play that.
We're such an abominable, sick society that we won't make the history book. They just say that large nations took land from smaller nations, used force and violence. You'll get history talked about as corrupt behavior all the way along until the beginning of the civilized world. That's when all the nations work together. World unification, working toward common good for all human beings, and without anyone being subservient to anyone else, without social stratification, whether it be technical elitism or any other kind of elitism, eradicated from the face of the earth. The state does nothing, because there is no state. There is no state.
Okay, I don't think I was saying I heard similar things from the communist and the Fabian socialist.
If you go back to your YouTube clip, you specifically project out to your audience that it's an eradication by guns to the head. And if you don't even try to deny it, Alex.
No, what I'm saying is what I said is that, no, that's what I said. I said over and over again in society, we hear all these ideas, similar things. I'm not saying it's the same. And I'm not saying there isn't a lot of value in what you're saying. I'm saying what happens in the process of getting there generally turns out pretty bad.
Okay, well, that's an assumption that you assume, but has absolutely no relevance to what he's talking about. At the very end of this section, he's speaking idealistically. He's talking about the needs and the broad scheme. We are an incredibly sick society. Our value system...
Who's sick? Like evil? Like evil?
No, sick because we're misinformed. We have turbulent value systems. We have distortions like religion. We have distortions like fashion. We have distortions like greed and competition that are pervasive and completely parallel.
Let me ask you a question.
Who we truly are.
You're listening.
That is what he's talking about.
Stop.
You're not letting me finish my point.
I need to ask you a question.
Let me finish
Go
my
ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
The point is that he's speaking idealistically. World unification without a state. What does that mean? No one can even think about something like that. It means that the state does not serve the function of any type of state we've ever known. It's not a state of control. Humans are based in a condition of... Humans are deriving their products from a system that is self-generating and self-sustaining, and they contribute to society not because they want money.